Hey, it's Kiersey here. I'm going to take you through how to take your body measurements using a tape measure. So sometimes people come to me and they have never done this before. Sometimes people come to me and they're well versed in this. But either way, I want to give you a quick rundown. In the Trainerize app, you will see that there are quite a few different body measurements that we are asking you to take every week. And I'm just going to show you very quickly how to do that. So first things first, sounds like a basic thing, but is very easy to get mixed up with. Make sure you're starting at the right end of your tape measure. Any kind of flexible tape measure will do just fine. We do measure in inches, so make sure you are starting at that 1 inch measurement. Now you are going to start all the way at the base to begin your measuring. The first measurement is going to be your neck measurement. So what we are going to do is you want to find about that midpoint. Sometimes if you have like a mole or some kind of landmark, that can be useful to take note of, because then you can just repeat at that same point every week. That goes for any point of your body if you have a birthmark, a scar, anything like that. But for the neck measurement, you're going to take your tape measure, find that midway point. I'm going to be using my mirror. Find that midway point. If you're a male, right along that Adam's apple, right in the middle is perfect. And you are just going to pull so that it's tight, but not so that it's like squeezing on your skin. All right. So you're going to take it, make sure the rope isn't, make sure the tape measure is nice and tight. And then we also want to watch to make sure our skin isn't like overlapping that tape measure. And we're just going to see where it lines up. So you're going to take that. I like to do this with a pen and paper on hand and write it down instead of having to flip through on my phone, just so I can do it all consistently. Whatever works for you is fine. But that's going to be your neck measurement, is that midway point on your neck, just looping it around. Now for your shoulders. For shoulders, we're not going to be looping. We're actually just going to go straight across. So you're going to find that bony point on your shoulder. You can place the tape measure here on that bony point, and then we're just going to bring it across. We want to make sure it's nice and level. We don't want to have any angle on that tape measure. So I'm going to look here, and then I'm going to find that other bony point on my other shoulder, and I'm just bringing it across, and I'm going to record that measurement. So we're not doubling or anything like that. It's just straight across. Again, if you have moles or anything like that to take note of, that can be beneficial. Now going on to the arms, this can get a little tricky. So how I like to do it on the arms is you're going to find that midway point on your bicep. So if you flex, you can find it there. But I like to start by taking it and placing my tape measure, that 0 point, right on top on that midway point, holding it with my thumb and then reaching around. So you'll see here, and then I'm just going to reach around to connect up top. You can see that. All right. Again, making sure that my tape measure is relatively straight. I want to avoid any angle here. So I'm going to bring my elbow up so that it is my upper arm is parallel to the floor, finding a nice straight line with my tape measure and then recording that measurement there. So I can show you here, this right here, you see how my skin kind of bunches up? That's going to be too tight. So I want it to be right about here so that you see that it is right up against my skin, but it's not causing my skin to like fold over or bunch up or anything. So that would be your bicep measurement. Now make sure you have 2 biceps, so you're going to measure right and left. All right. And then your forearm. So for your forearm, I like to use the crease of your elbow and going about 2 inches below that. If you do more or less, just take note of where you're doing it. Make sure you write that down so you can do the same week to week. Now I'm doing that same kind of method where I'm finding my point. I'm going to place it, hold the tape measure with my hand, and then I'm going to reach around with the rest of my fingers to loop and grip there. All right, so then I'm here. I'm going to, again, make sure that it's tight, but not my skin's not bunching, and have my measurement there to record. Now going on to your chest. So for your chest, I always start by getting my tape measure around the back, making sure my hair is not stuck on it, and then pulling across to the front. So you're going to find your nipple line, and you're just going straight across there. Again, making sure that you have a nice straight line. It's not slanted up or down. And we're just going to pull it nice and tight and record that measurement there. Now, keep in mind, if you're doing these by yourself, you can have somebody help you. Feel free to share this video with them, but you're gonna wanna be in more tight, like skin-fitting clothes. If you're in a baggy t-shirt, it's gonna be really hard to get an accurate measurement on a lot of these things because we're looking at, landmarks on your body and things like that to help us measure. So anything tight fitting, I have leggings on. Just be aware in leggings, if it's a swishy fabric, the tape measure has a tendency to move. So shorts, even if it's straight on your skin, that normally grips it best. But that's how you're gonna do your chest measurement, is right across your nipple line. Then we are going to our waist. So waist, we are going to find our belly button. It is not natural waist on here. If you look at the Trainrise app where they have it listed, it's not at that natural waist where you bend and crease. It's gonna be actually in line with your belly button. So again, I'm bringing that tape measure across my back, making sure it's not stuck on any shirt or anything, making sure it is in a straight line across, and then pulling it tight, but not so tight that it's bunching my skin or anything like that. All right, so nice and taut here. And then that is gonna be your measurement where those two ends line up and meet. So right here where they line up. Now going on to hips. This is where it can get a little tricky if you're in leggings or swishy fabric. You need to find the widest portion of your glutes. So you're gonna want to have some type of mirror if you are doing this by yourself. And you are going to find the widest portion of your glutes so it's technically not to your hip bone, all right? We're not measuring here, it is your glutes, all right? So you find that widest portion, and then again, we wanna make sure that it's nice and even across. This is tricky because you're looping it around. So you wanna find straight on how it looks and then kind of track around. You might have to pull the front down a little bit. And again, making sure that it's not so tight that you're seeing any skin round over. That is going to be your hip measurement, and you will take that where those two measurements, where those two ends overlap for your end measurement. Okay, so now going on to your thighs, we are going to come up to like where your hip crease is, and you're gonna come down about a hand's length. So you're gonna bend at the hip, you can place the base of your palm there, bend up, and then where your fingertips reach, that is going to be the place that we want to measure. So it's gonna be more your upper thigh here. And again, you are holding one end down on that point, wrapping around, making sure this one can get a little tricky doing it on by yourself because you're tilted over to make sure that line is straight, but try to keep it as level as possible around, and then that's going to be your leg measurement, your upper thigh measurement. Now going to your calf. Just like the bicep where we looked for that kind of widest point, like typically it's that midpoint that's going to be the largest. And like with the glutes, we're going to do the same on your calf. So if we look here, again, hard because I'm doing it myself, but we're going to find that widest point where we believe that to be, and placing your tape measure on, making sure that it is as level as possible. I always like to shift. I get my position and then shift back to standing just because it kind of helps with any like muscle activation and things to make sure that we're getting that accurate measurement. So I come back down to standing, keeping my tape measure in that same spot, and I find my number there to record. So it can be tricky if you've never done this before. Try not to get frustrated. You will get better as you progress and as you do this week after week. If you have somebody helping you, just try to keep that same person helping you as you go. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I have no doubt that you will catch on to this very quick if you haven't already.